What's up? I'm Draco, and I'm here with
Looking forward.
today reacting to two more badly translated history.
I translated Wikipedia's timeline of the medieval period through languages with terrible translation quality, and this was the result. 410. Harassment has led to the rebuilding of the governing body. The decisive event in the fall of the Western Roman Empire. 431. He affirmed Nicaragua's original doctrine and rejected the teachings of the Nestorius. 455. Rome has been harassed by King Ginsrich from harassment. Well, you expect him to harass if he's from harassment. 493. Following the siege, the great spirit Ravenna killed Odessa at a reception. Italy was ruled by Australia from 493 to 553. What? Also, I like how it's CE and then AD as well. Just all bases are covered. 524, but August wrote about his philosophy and methods. It has been described as one of the most important events in the West in terms of early announcement and the recovery of the Middle East. It was lost for quite some time, but thank God we got but August here. 535, Gothic War in Italy as part of the Justinian siege. The Titans revived Italy, but changed the business of bipent and prevented Italy from managing the upcoming city of Lambert. 563. He built a mosque that helped transform the Super into a civilization, and so it was destroyed and invaded by Vikings in 794. 568. The Roman Empire was founded in Italy. Didn't they just say it was going to be destroyed? Whatever. Frankfurt lived in Italy before the 774 invasion under Charlemagne. 577. He lived in West Saxon diocese. As a result, Cornwall permanently separated England from Wales. 604. Great Canal Workshop. Historically, its main function has been to transport grains into the city. Yeah, well, thanks. That was the Great Canal Workshop. I hope you enjoyed. 618.
Nice.
The threat. The local government system
What's
in this
the
community
threat?
will take 286 years. Well, that's accurate. 632. Yes. It is up to Islam every evening in this case. 632. Abu Bakr became the first caliph. 668. I ended 3 conversations in Korea. 30 years later,
Why?
he set up a general shelter leading north. What did he mean by this? 698. South Korea has begun. 735. Death of birds. The
Why?
bird was later called the father of British history. 750. The imagination of the puzzle. He was arrested in 1519. And it is the longest California associated with the Ottoman Empire. Right, okay. 814. Charlie Magnesium. Almost 30 years later, the empire would be a factor of polarization. 840. Muslims kidnapped Bari and southern Italy.
Not Barry.
Free Arbaz. Can't believe they captured Bari, 63. 910. Cluny Abe was founded by Earl William I of Ovington. Cluny became the recognised leader of the Western clergy. 925. King Trevovia was crowned king in 1910 to 1928. That took a long time. Tomislav joined groups of Dalmatian and national Tannonian rats in policing and establishing a large state. 929. Umayyav Afghanistan, part of the Iberian Peninsula, was given the title of Caliph, or ruler of the Muslim planet.
They got a planet?
936. After 3 Khmer Rouge provinces, Wang Island was agreed. 960. The group was formed after the Thai Empire defeated the Thai Empire and the last of the 5 kings. 319 years of musical direction, north and south combined. It's like some kind of musical going on in Thailand. 1001. Ericsson's Life Canada's current LNC is taking a winter vacation at Oak Meadows. Ericsson was the first European to settle in the United States during an Nordic American voyage.
Oh,
It's making it sound like
okay.
he's just gone on holiday. 1016, after the death of the Isle of Edmund, King of England became King of England. Who is King of England, you may be asking? Dan became King of England for the next 26 years. 1025,
King Big
the
Dan.
source of the drug is written. 1049, Pope Leo was the first president to ascend the throne. Leo IX was the prime minister who abandoned his father. 1054, Eastern and Western mosques divided the church into the culture of Western and Eastern Eritreans. Tensions between the Catholic Church and Austria will change in the Middle Ages. 1066, William became the Duke of Normandy and embraced England after the Battle of Hastings and became king. 1077, Holy Roman Emperor Henry IV entered Canossa, stood in bare snow, pleaded not guilty to the Pope, and conceded defeat at the opening ceremony of the debate. Nice. The 1088, the University of Connecticut was founded. It is the oldest university in Europe.
In Europe. Sure.
1099, under pressure from Pope Aris II of Germany, the Muslims sent me back. 1102, the Cambodian government and the Cambodian Empire established a two-state system of independence under the rule of the Hungarian king. 1106,
Why?
he defeated Robert Cook, the English leader of Henry Normandy, at the Battle of the Serb Bridge. Good bridge. 1109, the pomegranates were defeated at the Third Battle of Bremont. Access to the Polish Sea has been restored. Bro Max III defeated Emperor Henry VIII. 1118, a group of imperial towers has been erected to protect German and European tourists when they visit the city. During the persecution, he became one of the most important and powerful military commanders. 1123, after this, the first Conversation Council was established and the link to worms was approved.
What?
1125, Jordan. Chu Chen's forces chased Kai Fong and reached the Antim Road in northern China, where music moved south and turned Lenin into a new city. 1135, a monarchy began in Britain. Please ignore the previous kings. 1140, Detroit. That's crazy. 1147,
Detroit
the
is
second
crazy.
torture was in response to Abdasa's fall. This was the first punishment that happened. It's a complete failure. 1163,
Get better
the
at your
foundation
jobs.
stone was laid for the construction of Dirty Paris. This
Dirty-
is one of the most popular monuments in Goth. Oh, you have never been to Dirty Paris? 1186, Emperor Henry VIII married the Constad of Sicily. The marriage changed the centre of the battle between Jeff/Kiblin and Silly, which signals the destruction of Hohenstauffen's home.
Why?
Who is Silly? 1189, Richard climbed over the English throne. He's too good for it. 1129, no Minomo should be Chiwai, Tashcom, or Vulture in the short term.
What?
He was the first long-term military dictator to hold the post. What? 1204, during the campaign for a fourth joint, death, the theory of practice, was legal. This is the beginning of the collapse of the Byzantine Empire. 1206, Janla was chosen by Kagan from Mongolia and founded the Mongol Empire. Mongolia controls much of Europe and has changed its old political position. 1215,
I didn't know that.
Magna Carta signed by John England. This is the first time a governor in the Middle East has had to accept the limits of his power. 1258, Baghdad siege. Mongolia has locally controlled, generally regarded as the end of the Islamic Gulf era. It's over.
No more golf in it.
1279, the battle bars trust me. This marks the end of music in China.
Uh-oh.
1285, Mongolia's second invasion of Vietnam. And then 1287, Vietnam's third invasion of Mongolia. So they're going at it. 1305, William Wallace has been charged with common sense in the proceedings.
You're not allowed to have common
1307,
sense.
in the era of presidential adoption, the victory of the Pope culminated in the start of Babylon on Thursday. It began working outside Rome for 7 decades, one of the most important causes of chewing.
I didn't know.
1314. The loop is strong wings, and orange seeds have an orange conversation. 1347. The university was created. It is the oldest university in the world and in Germany. 1370. Tim Hagen founded Bishop Tim Merritt. More than 35 years ago, Tamerlan destroyed the Islamic State. Like everyday heads, gold, and fish, to peacefully fulfill its ambitions in the Mongol Empire. 1389, Kosovo War in Serbia. It was an important battle between Hart and the Serbian Evangelical Army led by Sultan Murad and the Duke of Gaia, White Empire. He was born into a group called the Battle of Kosovos, the southern Serbian province, after which the Turkestan Empire eventually spread through the Balkan city region, Vienna. There's too many characters in this story, I can't follow. 1396.
Way too many.
Nicopoly. The final whistle failed, and Bulgaria defeated the Austrians. 1409. Naples' Ladislaus sells his rights, in quotes, to the Republic of Venezuela for 100,000 rights to the Republic of Venezuela. It's a good trade, I think. Is it? Can somebody tell if you know if it's a good trade?
I'll let you know.
Dalmatia remained under the Venezuela control for nearly 4 decades until 1797. That's a bit more than 4 decades. 1415, Henry Y and his troops defeated the Great French Army because the English period has only just begun. Okay, they had like plot immunity. 1428, along with Tesco and Tulcovin, the 4th Mexican king beat Eseboco to mark the birth of Emperor Aztec and to mark the beginning of 90 years of historical violence. The winning cup began to burn, and history focused on Mexico was rewritten.
What?
What? So, it's just some kind of weird ritual, I think. So, to mark the birth of the emperor, they set fire to a policeman and then rewrote history. 1429, Mount Elm's battle is the first thing to pull Britain out of Europe. It's the first Brexit. 1431, sentenced and executed John of Lorraine. A woman who helped fight France for 100 years died more than 2 years ago. Why didn't you tell me 2 years ago? 1434, evidence for the use of fake glass. 1439, Johannes Gutenberg made this model. Throughout Europe, news books and news became more news.
Wow.
This is the most news you'll ever read. 1443. Koreans get letters biting their lips.
What?
1453. The decade of war is coming to an end. The great British territory of France has now only lost control of Mr. Carl. 1455. Saint Aleppo. Surrender is the beginning of a charitable war. 1464. The Thaddeus Peninsula has been created. During the fall of Constantino Bolmoniani, it was designed to carry out a Turkey besieging missile.
They had missiles?
1467, the Japanese War continues. A spectacular civil war. 1469, he received 10 Sichod Tambon and became president. It's as easy as that. 1475, Emperor Dutton captured Kenneth and turned him into an empty kingdom. Venezuela was defeated, and the Ottoman Empire became the owner of the Long Sea. Oh, we got exclusive She law. 1485, She is one of the most famous British births. 1487.
It's British.
It's a little bit of a bit. This is the end of the charity war. The last thing that ever happened. 1499, the Ottoman Navy beat Venice in the Battle of Soni. This is the first naval battle to use nuclear missiles. And then
Oh!
nothing else happened, so I think you know what happened.
So the Ottomans created nukes. I didn't know that. Okay.
14,000 BC. The first students came to the Japanese valley, but they were different from the farmer and the first Samaritan. 300 BC. From Asia to the Valley of Japan, many turned to it, sharing the culture and traditions of the time with the Yiya people and the new minority. New minority just dropped? 238. Ha 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 ha. I think the translation is finally broken. 461. Sri Lankan news follows every day before reports are released by journalists and journalists.
Oh.
500.
Okay.
With the beginning of the Iron Year in Japan, the metal spread to rocks.
Whoa.
This is badass. 527. In the wake of the rebellion in Ireland, the
Ireland.
Yamato family began to take root in the Kyushu country, Kyushu district. 562. The last state of Gaia was destroyed in the name of Japan, outside Japan. 587. The religious wars, sucker, ended with the victory of the Khan family over their old friends. Sad. 603. List of Sri Lanka's top 12 players. 630.
What is
Tang was the first Japan to travel to China.
What?
Okay. 645. The Asuka era ended when ISIS destroyed the power of the Soha and Nagasaki families. 646.
Okay.
Jehovah's Day begins with the Thai Revolution. 660. The Japanese, led by my father and Hirobu, killed people at Mishima, and the Japanese did not return to Hokkaido for more than 700 years.
Wow.
668. The Ministry of Foreign Relations has been approved by the Ministry of Foreign Relations. I'm sure they
Nice.
had no bias there. 689. The Code Asuka Kiyomihara Code, good name, included a report on public registrations and public explosions.
Whoa.
694.
Public
the capital of England
explosions.
has moved to Fugivagogi. Good name. I love the events that just like, oh. 724. The Lion King, who went down the throne. The construction of Taka's Royal
Lion
Palace
King?
next to the city of Sandy today. 740. Yuki's anger is angry.
So true.
745. It is a form of taxation. 749. Please do it. This Wikipedia was sponsored by the IRS. 745. The virus comes from China. 763. Unidentified
What virus?
tuberculosis spread from IKEA Island. 790. If a person is in their 30s, they are in their 30s and are in their 30s.
Nice. I didn't know that.
Are they wrong? Okay. Are they wrong? No. 806. This is the 100-year-old. This man. This man right here. 814. The Ebola outbreak killed half of Japan's population. 839. Tang was the first envoy to be sent to China. Some delegates were later dissolved. 894. Michima Sugawara calls on China to stop sending embassies. Please, stop. We've had enough. 949. He supervised the construction of the temple with a group of 56 Tidai hydrangeas. 1019. Don't be fooled by the North. Don't be fooled by them. 1156. 1180. When I moved to the capital of the Imperial Palace in Fukuhara. That's it. That's all he said. 1274. Japan's response to the pony fight.
The pony
famous
fight?
Pony fight of 1274. We don't talk about it animore. for good reason. 1350, sea locusts are weakening sea lions in Japan, where gun robbers are spreading throughout Japan. Those goddamn gun robbers. Goddamn. 1368, there is no regional identity. Sorry. 1443, Japan is a signatory, and the fight against pirates is no longer Japanese. Sorry. 1459, glad to know God, I tell you. I'm telling you.
Glad to know God as well.
1488, the Kaka Rebellion destroyed Mashika Tokashi and established an administrative system called Dangerous IKEA in the Ishikawa division. 1570, Oda Novo Nagara, good name, opened a 10-year war with Ishima Hongunji by threatening Sengoku and the IKEA countries. I'm going to blow up the IKEA countries, sometimes referred to as Scandinavia. 1582, Hong Kong. Captain Aki Mishoid betrayed Norbanga, forcing him to make a mess. You're making a mess! I don't even know what's going on in 1587. I don't want to address it. That's a bit stereotypical. Togawi's Sushi Army. 1635. This independent foreign policy prevented Japan from being forced to leave Japan, and its influence on Catholic deaths was severely punished economically. And there were also strict rules regarding foreign e-commerce. This prevented Europeans from entering the country because of pain. 1642, Connor Great Famine was caused by climate change as the government waited for a temporary capital surplus, volcanic eruptions, and a state of emergency.
What is happening?
Who is this man who could do all this? 1680, Tokugawa's older brother died successfully.
Yeah.
1712, Jorinda Svedlander Candy Cane Crepipedia.
What?
720, it is easy to start learning Dutch with English language restrictions. 1732, sea hunger, famine in the Middle East. 1842, the EU's relations with Tampa strengthened its relations with European countries. 1846, at the age of 45, King Nikia died and became Emperor of Cambrian. 1853, Matthew Ramachandran, who did not order the building to respond to a letter sent by Prime Minister Millard Fillmore to the Governor of Japan, Barry from the coast of Japan, also via Paris. 1845, Matthew Barry returned to Japan with 8 black ships, and Carr eventually understood the agreement to accept President Fillmore's demand. 1867, the Emperor Jammy died at the age of 35, which is usually the end of Aldi's era.
No.
And was probably inspired by past news. It's over Aldi Bros, now it's all about IKEA. 1871, let's abolish the Hanoi system, not the national system. 1873, 2013, President Obama rejects South Korea's threats. What? What is going on? 1894, the first Japan-Japan War began. 1895, Japan won World War I because of the Simonovsky
Didn't
Pact.
happen yet, but
It was
okay.
the first major battle between the J Army.
What's the J Army?
It's like a group. And the first time the East African country had moved from China to Japan. South Korea is a big country. 1905, a war between Russia and Japan. Japan won the war with Russia, gave Portsmouth signs, and as the Russian war ended, Japan was divided into the first Asian country to hand over parts of its resources and lands. This isn't a very good victory. Human rights activists began to oppose the killing of malaria that changed global standards, making Japan the first country in the Asian region.
Woo!
Well done. 1926, The Secret of the Hand. 1927, there will be a lot of fun. 1930, home is an
Yay!
attack on a house in Taiwan. Just one of them. 1936, there was no incident on February 26th. There wasn't. Don't you think about it. 1940, French means French. 1955, at this time, it was the Republicans who moved Japan. They just pushing it. 1960, Anbo's massive protest against the US-Japan security revolution were violent in Japan's first broadcast.
Uh-oh.
This forced Prime Minister Nobutsumi Kishi to resign and overthrow President Dwight D. Kishi U.S. Eisenhower. 1969, Vietnam War and US barracks on mainland. Japan temporarily ended with the establishment of the University of Tokyo. 1983, the North American online gaming market ended in failure,
No!
forcing developer Con Group to take a position in the United States as the world's largest video game market. This used to be like in the future in this timeline, because they had the EU and now they got online. Didn't they have e-commerce like hundreds of years ago? 1989, Emperor Hirohito died at age 87. Japan's longest reigning and longest reigning emperor was assassinated by Akihito, the world empire that killed him, becoming the Great Empire of Japan, marking the beginning of the primitive era. You know Akihito's his son? Nice. 2014, Mr. Shinzo Abe, the Vice President of Japan, became president. And then in 2016, Mr. Shinzo Abe, Japan's Vice President, wins the Vice President election. He's going for all the elections. Good for him. 2018, Japan sent its first naval base, high-speed submarines after World War II, and the rebels trained Japanese ships to attack and intercept slaves on the battlefield.
What? That's sort of brief
That was
history
a
of
very,
Japan.
very complex history of Japan. Somehow it mingled in with world history in general.
Who knew the
Because I learned
Who knew Japanese history was so complex like this? They had internet back in like the 1400s.
this is the most I learned about Japan in one city. Who could have guessed?
Well, if you guys enjoyed this video, click the like button. Subscribe if you're new. Click the bell to get notified whenever a video comes out. Peace.